See, it's not about interests, it's about focusing within. Because your current sense of self is dispersed and attached to different elements within the projected reality. Now, to lose all those aspects in the projection means to focus within, means collect your sense of self. That's where you perceive the reality from a capital R. And by focusing within, you still can read, talk, be interested in other things, but from that internal contentment, from that wholesome being. So that's different. That's different. And that fulfills you. When you just run around pursuing certain things, definitely it occupies your time, it entertains you, but it also drains you and disperses you even more. So you lose energy to these things. It could be fascinating. It could be also developing you on a certain limited level, but at the same time, the essence is lost through this process. So this is where the focus has to shift within, that I am, without my existence, all these things have no meaning, because if I'm not in this body, if I exhaust my conscious energy and I'm not connected to the source of my reality, my body will, eventually lose its energy. And so if I'm not in the body, who's going to read these books? Who is going to enjoy these hobbies or these activities? So you see, this is kind of a very interesting point where it's not about activities, it's about the sense of self that we connect to certain activities, or in general, consciousness connecting to action and disperses itself through the action. So you can still act, but without dispersion, while you are focused within. Focusing within means you are fully in the body. Fully in the body means you're fully relaxed. You feel wholesome, content. So when you are reading that book from that contentment, you're not taking that book because I'm missing something. You're taking that book just to, it just adds maybe to your current enjoyment because you're already wholesome. So it's, to me, spirituality means self-cultivation. Self-cultivation is possible only when you awaken to this reality, and not just awaken and perceive bliss for a couple of hours or in a day, but when you sort of keep on focusing within and realizing that without that essence, nothing really has a meaning. Because all of your activities, hobbies, services, doings in general have or make any sense only because there is that essence, there is that consciousness that can operate through the body and participate in all of that. If you are out of the body, who's going to do that? Who's going to participate? Who's going to, evolve? Because it's the evolution itself, we think, is something like some kind of a process again. But you may put it in a context of a process, or like, okay, we're letting go, we're sacrificing. I mean, we can use the human notions, but it's I don't even know how to say. It's like, it's kind of through life circumstances, through life events. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's kind of a refinement, but the refinement that you can't pinpoint. It's like you can notice a difference only when you look back. Like the person who's actually on the path and in the flow, they never have a thought of who am I, or where have I reached, or am I evolving, am I developing? I was asked by one of my followers, do you have this question of who am I, or did you have? I never question anything. my understanding of awakening, that once you dive or once you dove into that flow and you cultivate, it means your focus is within. It doesn't mean that from time to time you won't come out and participate in the reality. It would be absurd to say that, okay, you just have to sit like a mummy. Well, some yogis leave this realm for a while, maybe 3 months to maybe even a couple of years or more years. But that's a different level of understanding reality or multidimensionality of reality. But when we speak about the spirituality of this current time, and when we are still attached to the physical bodies and all, it's absurd to try to cut off from the physical reality. You have to just process the physical reality in a healthy way. You know? It means that you should not believe or disbelieve, condemn or restrict or indulge or obsess. You know, these are extremities. These are unhealthy responses, traumatic responses to the reality. The best way to deal with the reality is to focus within on the essence. Consciousness dwells within. It means you're absorbed, you are balanced. And then when you need to participate, you participate wholeheartedly. You are there in that experience, but that experience doesn't define you because your focus is within. Mm-hmm. You deal with the reality out of contentment, not out of desperation, obsession, because those are traumatic responses. So it means that there will be an attachment, there will be unhealthy attachments. Sometimes you may like something, it doesn't mean that you're attached. You have preferences in this physical reality. People created all these, obstacles, spiritual, religious, moral, like limited, based on nothing, on someone's definition of good and bad. But when you're in the flow, you know what's important and healthy for you, because spirituality is that balance. Health is the balance. So balance means I notice when I act upon or from obsession, or when I act just, all right, I have to attend to these duties. So I come out from contentment. I'm still content. My focus is still within. I just give to this situation or to this element of reality only this amount of energy which is necessary. This way I keep on cultivating, not draining myself. So the projected reality is not inimical to us, or it doesn't mean that it wants to, it has its own way of operating, which means it requires energy. Without the energy of our consciousness, it would be nothing, it would not exist, So that's why it attracts us, so we feed it with energy. But when you know this principle, we give it only that which is significant for our own physical existence and relevant, or we don't lose the energy to this projected reality, because it will attract you in such a multiple way, because this is what it does. From my observation, that this is the main lesson, to understand that you may have people around, you may have activities, but you will enjoy these people and activities even more if you were focused within.